Well, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has recovered 27.2 billion naira and $19.1 million in the course of the ongoing investigations embarked upon by the agency this year so far. Arise News analyst Dayo Sobowale joins us now to discuss the EFCC progress report showing the recovery of 27.2 billion naira, $19.1 million with former governors, ex-ministers, MDA officials under probe, and how to invigorate the fight against corruption. Good afternoon, Mr. Sobowale. Good to have you.
Good afternoon. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's a pleasure as well. Now, when you read part of the statement released by EFCC, they confirmed that investigations are ongoing in respect to monumental fraud. For me, that was a big one when I saw monumental. I'm just wondering how that bit came across to you. And this is as regards, the Federal Ministry of Power and Agriculture.
Well, you must be familiar with such figures where EFCC is concerned. But it is just propitious that just at the same time, you have a new leadership for the EFCC, new substantive leadership. The fact that previous leadership or previous leaders of the commission have always ended up on the wrong side of the law shows how dangerous the job is and how susceptible to the forces of corruption itself. We can congratulate the new leadership because it is a leadership dug out from the FCC system. The new leader was chief of staff to a former chairman and the secretary. So obvious, and he's a lawyer. Hitherto, they've been taking people from the police force. So he's a son of the soil in terms of expertise and knowing the terrain. That should be an incentive to spur him to know how to move things in an innovative direction such that it does not end up like his predecessors in office. The vision of the EFCC, which I stumbled on somewhere, is to make Nigeria clean of financial and economic crimes. And their values, according to their mantra, is integrity, collaboration, two other values. So I want them to live up to their values. But you see, the figures that were mentioned involving former ministers, former governors, and all that, shows that our politics is highly corrupt and it has criminalized the environment totally. You see, it is an open secret that many people in office now, both at state and federal levels, have cases, I call it bag and baggage, with the EFCC. So I wish the new leadership the best. But at the same time, I will offer one or two words of advice. You see, the criminal system we inherited from the British system of parliamentary democracy. Now we are in the presidential system. We should look elsewhere to prosecute and deter people from enriching themselves from political office and corruption. The French have a system where you have investigative judges. Maybe we should adopt that. Hitherto, we have been relying on the police. But the police are trying their best. Police are trying their best. They have their problems. And invariably, they too succumb to the perquisites of office, the temptations. Now, it's obvious, 2-3 previous police officers have been there and they did not end up well. So a lawyer is there now. I would like to add I would like us to add something to that. In France, they have what they call investigative judges. You get me? A judge can question witnesses on the commission of a crime and decide to bring that person to trial. Get me? So why not see? Because in the past, although it was during the military rule, you have set up special tribunals to try special cases. Maybe it's about time to do that. But maybe it is about time to do that. But the case is, who will bail the cat? If you look at the entire environment, see, they say when the fish is rotting, it is rotting from the top. So we need a good house cleaning exercise. And I wish the new EFCC chairman the courage, the stamina, the discipline to rally his troops around and make our environment clean of economic and financial crime, which is what they are set up to do.
Now, still speaking on strategy, which I think you've elaborated beautifully, when we look at the last administration, it was a very bullish approach, huge announcement about the fight against corruption. And now I know the current administration is still settling in, but it seems a more subtle approach and we're just seeing results. Which of the approaches do you think is going to yield a better outcome? Is it the declaration, does it need to be an overt declaration against corruption, or this subtle approach that we see that the work is happening clearly, and we're going to get more details on who the former governors, former ministers involved are. The report has said, things will unravel in the next few days. But it's interesting to see that there hasn't been any outright declaration of war against corruption, but there are these huge results already.
There have always been declarations. Just like, you sound skeptical about implementation. I share your skepticism because that is what has been happening.
That's your subjective interpretation. I'm just asking a very objective question about which of the strategies do you think yields better results?
The strategies are the same. The last president was elected on a platform of integrity and anti-corruption because he dealt with people when he was a military ruler. But at the end of 8 years, what has happened? It was worse than before. Do you get me now? This is the same party with the last president. You get me? What they have done now, which is different, is that they put a lawyer there, not a career police officer. A lawyer, somebody who has been secretary to the commission, so who knows the administrative details and the strategies to adopt that will work, because he must have had experience of things that fail. Their main problem is media trial. You get me? They will list cases, blow up what people have done, huge amounts like this. But how many people have been prosecuted and jailed successfully? What you need is diligent prosecution, diligent, professional, goal-driven prosecution that gets people convicted for the crimes they have done. You see, the law says a man is presumed innocent until found guilty. But in Nigeria, they have made an ass of the law in that regard. Because people are corrupt, buy justice in the system, and get away with murder, literally. So something has to be done. I feel they should put investigative inquisitorial judges in place, like the French do, and then let that complement what the police is doing. And I believe justice will be faster and cheaper in terms of time and delivery and conviction to deter people from thinking that they can just steal money and get away with it.
Mr. Sobowale, we literally have 1 minute with you, and you mentioned cheaper. And what was also mentioned was that it would be cheaper to prevent this situation. Do you think that the EFCC and stakeholders involved, with them are really pulling their weight when it comes to preventing, as opposed to unveiling these matters when they already happen?
I'm not on with a media trial. Media trial is public relations stunt. Like you rightly pointed out, it's what is done that matters, not the intent. Get me? That was what you were trying to say the other time. They should walk the talk, literally. Live according to their mantra. Use their professional integrity, collaborate with the environment, and make sure that the country is rid of financial and economic crime, which is their mandate.
Sam.
Sam.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for that great insight on this topic, Mr. Sobowale. Now.